Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pimps and simps, welcome back to the Mac Life, the #1 podcast here in the world. We're back for episode 127. Song to cap. If you're new to the channel, we go over absolutely everything to do with growing your brand online, monetizing that brand, marketing for Onlyfans creators, okay, and then tips for managing girls as an Onlyfans manager. Now, okay, if you're new as well, the way in which I do these videos is in podcast style format. So prepare yourself. This is a long video. It's not just available on YouTube, okay? I do a lot of talking, just about updates in life, general things going, business nuggets, stuff like that, things that I've found helpful throughout my life. It's like a reflection journal almost, and me and you get to build a little connection. And then we have one main topic that we go over at the end. Now, what that is today is a very important one. Today you need to watch, okay? It's very important because everything else in the last couple of weeks has been around optimizing the amount of money you make through OnlyFans. This is going to stop you running into serious issues in the OnlyFans industry as both a creator and a manager, okay? Very, very important. These are the safety tips that I wish I knew when I started, okay? And I pretty much was lucky enough to put these all in place, having come from e-commerce. I knew the certain risk things to look out for. So we're going to be going over what to do as managers in terms of contracts with girls. We're going to be looking at a whole range of... I'm not going to get into exactly what they are yet. They're going to be at the end. But there are a lot of things that you need to set before you start as a creator and a manager. So we'll get into those. Now, we have a lot of shit to go over today. I got a new podcast I got a new ring light on the way from Amazon. Fuck me, this light. Yeah, I got a new ring light. This one is fucking cooked. What else? That's stuck in my head. This little 18-year-old that I was hanging out with in Thailand, this German chick, she's half German, half Thai, kept calling me Songjulka, which translates like two hairs, because I had like the world's worst haircut if you watch back. I just don't give a fuck. And I essentially had two hairs on my head, so it translates, I'm pretty sure, to like two hair. Anyway, we have a lot of shit to cover. I've started adding in news and reaction style videos as well. If you haven't noticed, I dropped one yesterday, another one coming out. It'll already be out actually by the time this video comes out. And I'm essentially doing it like that now, one a day of trending topics going on in the news or trending videos or anything that I find helpful. Sometimes it might just be a tip video on Marketplace or social media or whatever it is. But yeah, that's essentially what's going on. And in today's video we covered, if you've already seen, if you haven't, you should go watch it after this video. It's Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Andrew Tate, you know, they're all they're brewing the seeds for a fight, which will be interesting. So let me know your opinions on who you think would win there on that video. Go ahead, because it obviously depends on whether it's in boxing, whether it's in kickboxing, you know, there's a whole different range of factors that take place, who fights who. So let me know your thoughts on that video. But it made me really think about something, and it's something that I've talked about, I'm pretty sure, on the podcast before. I've definitely mentioned it in the controversial style stuff, but really, all these social media celebrities and famous influencers and things like that, you don't understand that, you know, you can rebrand yourself as many times in your career as you like, and you shouldn't be worried about putting out content because... And you shouldn't be worried about, you know, the stuff that you do earlier on in your career affecting you later on in life. I mean, look at every actor. They've gone through horrible movies. They've done these periods in their life, and then a lot of them have, you know, become good in the public eye. And you look at like Logan Paul and the Paul brothers, they were on the Disney Channel, and then they're on this, and then they're boxing, and then they're... And so you can rebrand yourself in the public eye as many times as possible. Throughout life, you're going to change. You're going to adopt, hopefully, new ideologies that challenge your beliefs. You're going to change, and that's fine. The only reason why you think, oh, these people aren't consistent is when you look at them as a celebrity, everything they do is publicized massively. So you're like, oh yeah, but they've been this. You've changed. You used to be a tiny little fucking human. Now you're a big human with different beliefs, different things. You probably play different sports. You do different things. You fuck different people. You do different shit, hopefully. Okay, so the only difference is that your life, you know, is publicized when you're a social media person. Now, I was listening to Logan Paul blast Andrew Tate saying like, oh, he's misogynistic, he does all these things, controversial just for hype, I don't agree with. And it's funny because I like all these people. Like I like, and whether you agree or disagree, I think it's very hard to be a social media influencer. You have a lot of pressure that you have to deal with constantly. But it's funny, I thought for Logan Paul to sit there and say that, and I'm like, I like Logan Paul, but I heard him like, oh, he does all this controversial shit just to get views, and it's cringy. It's like, bro, you had arguably one of the most controversial things, which was like the suicide forest video, and then all of a sudden you put out an apology video a little while later and converted it and converted people back. And what it reaffirmed from a marketing standpoint in my head is that all publicity, you've heard this before, is good publicity. And that is one of those few known terms that is actually true. All publicity is good publicity. And if I want to further add on to that, you need to understand that if you do controversial marketing, all bad publicity is great publicity, because in the future, okay, if you decide to change, you've been a bad person, let's say in the media's eye. If you decide to start doing good things, and maybe you donate to a charity, maybe you help someone with cancer, maybe you help whatever it is that happens, you convert people that didn't like you back onto your side. It's very hard to go from good in the public eye. If you do one thing wrong, you get your name tarnished and blasted. But if you start off as the villain and then you start doing good shit over time, people say, I fucking hate this guy, but I hate this. You see these comments, I fucking hate this guy, but props to him. Props are due where props are due. He's fucking put in the work here. So it's very easy to go from the bad guy to the good guy. So why not just start by being the bad motherfucker, which is very easy to be controversial and very easy to get the virality, and then start to share some of that juicy, heartfelt stuff and convert some people back onto your side, okay? That's all I noticed in today's observation, and it's something I've talked about. Now, another thing that I had, criticism, and this is another thing that Logan Paul did in this video, which I didn't like, and I like all Logan Paul's shit. He was picking apart Andrew Tate's business model, which is he's like, oh, it's a fucking big, scam, it's an MLM, it's all this shit, okay? And, informational businesses online cop so much stick, but at the same time, you can compare them to traditional university, which is the only other alternative, the only other way to get education, or you get free education from YouTube and fucking waste a magnificent amount of time sifting through information, or you can pay to enhance the speed. I'm big on this, but essentially, to sit there and pick apart someone else's business while you are involved in a capitalistic system, I feel is just shit. Because you could do this for any business in the world, can be picked apart. Any business, a fucking fish and chip shop. I can go down to fish and chips and say, hey bro, how much are these chips costing you in bulk? And he goes, yeah, well I fucking, I buy them for this much and it takes me a few minutes to cook them and then I mark them up and sell them to you for this much so I can make my living. And I say, you greedy cunt. So you're telling me you get these entire bag of chips for $2 and you're selling them to me for fucking $5 a box for a portion of them. You can't. You can pick apart any business based on capitalistic measures. And same thing with Logan Paul and these people. He was throwing a bit of shade on Andrew Tate. And I was listening bro, you build a giant audience and then you monetized it by selling hoodies. It wasn't even that ingenious. You monetized by dropping merch. And you could say the same thing. They're buying useless jumpers which don't really add to their life and all they do is fuel your pockets, okay? And you're paying $1 on the cents for these fucking hoodies that then you're mass selling. So, but people can defend their businesses just as easy. Yeah, well, I didn't pressure them into buying it and they want to buy it and it adds to their life and makes them feel like they're part of a community. And I could argue, the same thing with the people that try and pick apart the Hive. I argue that compared to buying a hoodie, okay, which doesn't really have that much value, unless the value you want to put on it intrinsically, okay, the Hive miners genuinely change people's lives. I've had testimonials of people going, oh, I lived with my parents and now I'm able to afford my own place. The Onlyfans girls messaging me going, me and my partner, we've been able to buy our first home. I've had people going from nothing to $1,000 a day. You can pick apart any business and find its negatives the same way you can take any business and find its positives. So for you to sit there, be involved in a capitalistic business, okay, same as gamers and YouTubers and shit, and throw shade at other people's business, I think it's just disgusting. Same as gamers that sit there and they throw shade at online course businesses. And it's you look at it and you're like, you motherfuckers sit there and play games, okay, and put ads which just waste people's time. Ads that waste people's time. And that's how you make money. And then you reply to, the only chats you reply to are when people tip you, okay, and those are usually broke kids that are sitting there watching a stream for hours on end, wasting their life, and then they're sitting there tipping you money from their paycheck so that they can get a reply from you. So you can pick apart any business, see what I mean? So that was something that I wasn't too impressed with on today's video. But yeah, that's what I think. If you're going to be involved in a capitalistic business, okay, don't throw shade on other people. But then I thought about it. I thought, is this a game of chess? Is Logan Paul one step ahead? Because just doing shit like that gets people like me to talk about him as well. So maybe everything he does is calculated. And maybe I'm overthinking it, maybe I'm not, but people make a lot more money. And so you have to ask yourself, if other people are able to consistently make more money than you, you can't just continue to call them stupid out of ignorance. You have to look and think maybe they're just a better strategist. Maybe they're just doing something that I can't see, okay? So that's a good way to think about things. Because at the end of the day, if you approach it like that, even if you're wrong, you've still approached it with a learning mindset. You've still approached it with a mindset where it's very hard for you to be beaten because you at least understand that there may be something else at play. Okay, next thing. I'm still not verified. I messaged on WhatsApp today. At least I got an actual response, like rapid responses from everyone. They're like, sorry, bro, we just got this other cunt verified. This was the last person. We're sending you 4 posts today. You need to put them all up, and then we're applying for you. But, you know, this talk carries on. We'll see how the action takes place. You know, when you pay tens of thousands of dollars for services, you want results. Important. Next thing, we've only got a few little updates, and then we'll get into the Onlyfans stuff. It's not too big of an update list today. I'm telling you all right now, if you want to be successful, I can't really give this information away because it's been disclosed with an NDA. But essentially, I can give you the parameter of it. You can make I believe the most money you can make right now is to build yourself a YouTube brand, okay, and put out a video every single day with the intention of doing it for the next 10 years. And sure, new platforms might arise, but you can copy those videos and move them across. I don't think YouTube's going anywhere for the next 10, 20 years. I really don't. I 100% internally believe that if you want to make the most money, and not just the most money, connect with the most like-minded people, build a cult following of people who you actually enjoy speaking with each day, and really change your life 100% for the better, the best possible thing you can do is to just start a YouTube podcast. And let me be the example that you don't need crazy good equipment. You don't need great skills. You don't need an editor. You don't need these things. People like this raw, transparent, unedited style of video, and I knew they would because when I search on YouTube, 99% of the time, it's just these flashy edited videos. There's too much shit going on. You can tell there's like a crazy production team. There's an agenda. It's not transparent. You don't connect. Drop a video like I'm doing every single day, and trust me, your life will change. And I'll give you an example. I'm trying to rev my cousin up, okay, into starting his YouTube podcast. Now, he still works a brokey, wagey, 9-to-5 job. He makes money. But on the side, okay, and here's something he doesn't realize. His dad, okay, my uncle, not by blood, but like my auntie was married to him and they're divorced or whatever, but he's still very, very key part of the family. He has made, like, he's worked a wagey job his whole life, but he's also made an extra shit ton of money on the side doing sports bet. And it's not like some weird sports bet thing where whatever. He watches sports religiously all day. It's what he enjoys. He just watches sports and bets and makes extra money, and then he doesn't understand how to invest, and he wastes all his money on whatever. I don't know. I'm not that involved. But my cousin has had this gene, weirdly enough, passed down to him, even though they don't really see each other that much. They do see each other just like maybe every couple months or whatever. He's had this weird genetic trait passed down where he knows everything about sports. I can ring my cousin up and I'll test him sometimes because I don't watch sports that often. I watch MMA. I used to watch soccer a lot as a kid. Football, however you want to say it. I'll ring my cousin up and I'll say, hey, did you fucking chime in for fucking the Vollaroos? The fucking women's volleyball last Saturday? And he'll be like, yeah? He's like, did you watch it? And I'll rev him up because I'll look up some highlights. And I'll say, what'd you think about, I don't know any of their names. What'd you think about Anna fucking Banana's fucking thing? And he knows. He knows her partner. He knows their age. He knows every sport, how long He knows the length of their foreskin. He knows these fucking traits about everyone. He knows what everyone's up to in the sporting world. And anyway, recently, he's developed this thing where he started to bet on sports bet. And he hasn't told anyone, except he told someone at work, this girl that he fancies, and anyway, and then the words got around, and then I messaged him, and then I ended up calling him. I was like, how much money did you make? And because me and him are going to look at setting some shit up together, and he's like, yeah, well, I bet on fucking, and it's not even known sports, like he bet on the weirder tier sports. And he sent me his thing, and I was like, how much did you make? And he's a stingy motherfucker. He's not frugal. But he's like, yeah, I made 1.7k the week before that, and then last week was a good week, I made 2k, and then I made this much, and then I made this much, and I was like, well, how much have you lost? And he's basically lost nothing, like it's all profit. And I was like, he's made an extra, whatever, 10 grand. And I was like, that's a skill, that's a trait. And I was like, you don't even have to monetize, you don't have to have the intention to sell anyone anything. But I told him, look, bro, like, trust me, if you start a YouTube channel and you just talk about your wins, okay, and this is what I mean about finding your niche of people. He likes sports. If he just talks about what he betted on, his wins, not giving advice, just saying, this is what I did, this is what won, I thought fucking Maria Sharapova had a great game, and just gives a bit of general advice and talking. If he does that every day for a year or does reaction videos on sports, you will build a community of people who are like-minded and people who generally and genuinely connect with you. Why do I mix up generally and genuinely? Connect with you. And what will happen is you'll get to the point where eventually a monetization strategy will be given to you. People will say like, bro, why don't you create a sports pick bet where, it's $9 a month and we join and you give us your picks before it. And obviously there's going to be a heap of legalities that go with that. I'm not discussing a business like that. Or maybe they'll say, bro, like, you have the funniest fucking thing. Like, why don't you, like, again, create merch and create this? But I said, like, honestly, if you want a long-term strategy for wealth, it's always the framework is building an audience that connects with you. It's that book. It's a great book to read. It's called 1,000 True Fans. And it's essentially, if you find 1,000 people that are your true fans that are willing to give you $1,000 in exchange for something, but they're definitely willing to do it because they're a true fan, you're a millionaire. Like, it's that simple. And a lot of people don't focus on that. They want the get rich now quick, the millionaire in a week. It's like, why can't you just, if you're already living your life the way it is, okay, and you're already working and you're already doing these things, why not just drop a YouTube video each day anyway? Why does it have to be that you think, the way to get out is the lottery? I honestly feel this is a 99% way to success. Like people say, I grew 100,000 followers in a year or whatever. I've only grown like 5k, but on this channel, there's some other shit I can't discuss, but the amount of money YouTube has generated is massive, beyond massive. So have a think, like, what can you talk about? Even if you just talk about like the gossip in the news, or you talk about, like, I said to my mate, who's unfortunately very lazy, but he's big into the gaming sector. And I was like, bro, just talk about gaming news that's coming out. It doesn't need to be edited. People have these false beliefs. Like, that was his first thing he said to me. He's like, oh yeah, but surely I don't think so for the gaming industry to have to be edited. And I'm like, no, bro, just trust me. I can tell because I wish I started my channels before. If I started these 5 years ago, the amount of craziness in life it would have brought is far beyond. But I'm glad I'm doing them all now. And I've met people now that come up to me in the street, and you might not think so because the channels are small, but I've met people in Thailand that come up and they're like, bro, I watch your shit, bro, oh my God, I've seen you on Insta, I've seen you here, I've seen you there, and you genuinely connect with people. I'll just mix those words together, amalgamate them into genuinely. Now I don't have to say either, I can say both. Please start a YouTube podcast, trust me. And you're only going to see success with it and I know this sounds stupid, like if you're not focused on the money. You can be focused on the money, but you need to be focused long term. And you can change what you talk about over time. That's fine. I've tried travel videos, I've tried this, I've tried that. And what I realize is what works best is just doing what I feel works in my life. And like doing a podcast every single day, I enjoy doing that. Talking business tips, talking things that I find helpful with all of you. Talking fucking, whatever, doing little mini travel videos here and there. Just be yourself, but just post. Just post. And YouTube is 100% the platform to do it. You know, if you want to grow fast on TikTok, I know people with 500, 600,000 TikTok followings, and yet they have no monetization strategy. No one wants to buy anything. It's like, please, like, you can do the other platforms, but YouTube should be your main focus, please. I'm trying to give you the sauce. I'm trying to give you the Mac juice to help you out here. Now, yeah, this is the big one. Meetings are 100% of waste of time in business. And, you know, there's big companies that are going to disagree with this fucking statement. They're all meeting driven. But people waste time in meetings. Work isn't getting done in a meeting. This is why I like the solopreneur style and just hiring freelancers and having very small teams. Meetings are a fucking waste. And, you know, I try and call, shout out my sister, I try and call them all the time when they're working for other companies. What he's doing? Oh, we're in a meeting. Oh, we're in a meeting. Oh, I'm like, when is work getting done? And it's not about, like, you know, being out there hacksawing, like, hard work, shoveling with the fucking thing. But it's like, everyone's just sitting around discussing what would be a better idea rather than implementing. And it's hard for you to know what a better idea is until you've tested it and given it a bit of track time. And then you look at the data. Try it out. Like, meetings are the biggest fallacy in business, the biggest waste of fucking time, honestly. And that leads on to the last point. They tie hand in hand. 100% of the people who want to have a call with you are a massive waste in ROI. I do not accept calls. You should see how many people the only exception would be for podcasts because I can get exposure to their audience. Bro, I make this much money. We should be doing a call. We need to get on a call together. I'm not saying you're not making this much money, but I get this like, fuck, 20, 30 times a week minimum. Bro, we need to jump on a call. Bro, can I pick your brain for 5 minutes? That's the worst fucking way to ever ask anyone for anything. Bro, what's it going to take for us to get on a call? We can make serious money together. No, we cannot. If someone is cold outreaching to you that you have not connected with and they're saying, bro, we need to get on a call together, I can 100% guarantee you it is a waste of time for the person receiving that message. 100%. And whether you're one of the people that message me this and you take offense, I don't care. It's a waste of fucking time. It's a waste. Because you're only reaching out because you feel there is an intention for you to make something, but you have to utilize something that I have to do that. And sure, it might be synergistic, but it still takes time, effort, and attention away from the vehicle that I have at the moment, okay, which is an unbeatable vehicle. For me to delegate any time elsewhere is a waste of time. And every business should be the same. If they understood their opportunity vehicle correctly and then they were focused on it for a long enough period of time, anything else would be a direct waste of time. Having phone calls, a fucking waste. And now you're saying, yeah, but you can network. You can network without phone calls. I network with people constantly, DMs, whatever, fucking message, WhatsApp, way faster. I can connect with 100 people compared to one. And then the people that I do have calls with that end up being my business partners and the people that I do have calls with, they're people I've connected with for a long time. They're not people who have messaged me and said, we need to jump on a call. They're people who I've connected with first through messages. And then I'm like, fuck yeah, let's jump on a call. They're not people who cold outreach asking for calls. So there's some advice for everyone as well. Fuck, I'm just throwing shade at every cunt who watches my shit. Now, I was watching back through some of my videos as well. I think a lot of people that leave criticizing comments. I noticed I got quite a few there today. Some, where is it? Fucking, where was it? Where was the criticizing ones? If you're really doing a lot of money on OnlyFans, you would have been trying to hustle to get us inside the hive. They're unintelligent people, but when I look at all of these comments, right, like, imagine having bum fluff on your lip, receding hairline. Anyway, what I look at is like people who leave those sort of comments, they're not just leaving it on my video, they're leaving it on 100 different people's videos. So you can't help them or you can't compete against them because say even 50% of the people reply to them. Do you know how much negativity they have being fueled into their life? They feel that everyone is against them because they've created this unfortunate, vicious, positive, it's a positive feedback loop because it's a reinforcing feedback loop, positive, negative feedback loop because it's like they're putting out this constant hate, and then they're getting that amplified back into their life to the point where they feel like everyone fucking hates them. So anything they see that even slightly triggers them, they just comment negatively on. And it's a sad thing, because social media has conducted this thing where it's like, now you're stuck in the cycle and it's pretty much impossible to break it. Hopefully my message helps to break it. But at the same time, like, these people are driven with insecurities because they never have channels. They never have these things up. You never see people with channels making fun of, especially people's appearance. That's the biggest one, is making fun of other people's appearance. Those people never have pictures of themselves. They never have videos up of themselves because they're very insecure about someone picking apart their appearance. If you're documented your whole life on video multiple times a day, you're not always going to look great. I look at my videos and I'm like, fuck, bro, you need to trim that disgusting fucking beard. And then, so, like, sometimes I shave it too much. I'm like, now you look like a lizard, bro. But I still get on the film. I still do the hustle. And it's like, these people are so worried that someone's going to pick something apart about their appearance that they never put themselves out there. And it's an insecurity thing. And that projects vocally. But also, I know this because it used to project from me. And the thing is, you can never attract what you want if you're pushing hate towards it. It is impossible, because you cannot hate something and also become that something. It is impossible. It's consistency bias and congruency bias. You will not become on that same wavelength of something that you hate. And here's an insecurity. I'm a smaller built dude. I'm not small in height wise. I'm 5'10", right? Or 5'10" something, but I was really skinny as a kid. I filled out more now, but I was really, really skinny. I used to see big muscly dudes, and I would say, oh, fucking, especially in Sydney, oh, big lebo, testosterone built, fucking tattooed up dudes, fucking think they're tough. I'd beat the shit out of them. And it's all insecurity driven. It's all, and like, it was because of the fact that I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to be more muscular. And whether they're fucking on roids or whatever, it doesn't matter. If I'm pushing hate towards people who deep down you generally, I can't even remember how we're going to say that word, genuinely want to be like, you're never going to become like that person. You're never going to be like, oh, I'm going to start lifting weights and fucking having protein and getting tattooed and doing all this shit that you feel is like whatever this image is, because you can't hate it and also become it. It's just not possible. So when the easiest way is to look internally and say, what things do I hate? And is it because of the fact that I hate them because I'm insecure? And everyone is insecure about something. But when you flip it, this is the easiest way to clean up all your insecurities and actually become insecure about nothing. When people say, oh God, you're so confident, it's usually by process of elimination, removing your insecurities. And the way in which you do that is to adapt a learning mindset and to adapt a positivity mindset, where you say, like, you see someone who say you internally dialogue and you look at myself and I'm like, you know, I do want to be bigger. I do want to be more muscular like these guys. And then I look at them and I adapt it with a positivity mindset. And I say, you know, good for that fucker. He's probably put in hard work to get there. He may have been skinny like me. And then, you know, he's built up and become that. You know, good for him. He's muscular. Why do I have to take away from someone else for me to be built up anyway? Even if he was born that way. And I say, you know what? Like, good for that motherfucker. And then, number two, when you do that positivity mindset, then you can adapt a learning mindset next, where you say, maybe I'm going to ask him, hey bro, were you ever skinny? Yeah, I was actually a fucking twig. Really? Well, what did you do? Well, I fucking made sure that, you know, per kilo of body weight, I had this many grams of protein, and I fucking hit the gym and focused on compound weights. Really? That's all you did? Yeah, and I just did it for a long enough period of time. Wow, there is hope. So, and like, that's just one example. You can take that for everything. But if you want to become the most confident, positive, attracting version of yourself, just the pinnacle version where you wake up. Like for me, I wake up each day and I'm just so excited to be alive every single day. I know I've got people around me that I love, a constant input of positivity, constant input of growth and learning. The easiest way to do that, okay, isn't to focus on money, which I know these podcasts are mostly about, but it's to go sit down in a room and write down all your insecurities. And the easiest way is to write down all the people you hate, look at what they have that you don't, okay? Sit there and write, I hate them, but what do they have that I don't? And then say, you know what, I'm going to take a positivity-based mindset approach and a learning-based mindset approach. And then your whole life will change. I'm pretty sure I learned that before we get into Onlyfans stuff. I'm pretty sure where I learnt that from was Ty Lopez. And whether you want to hate on Ty Lopez or not, okay, I like him. Like, I think he's been a massive life changer. You know, I think he's well on point in terms of psychology. And that, like, for me, I'm pretty sure that's who I learnt it from. It's been a massive life changer. Like, it's changed my entire life just from hearing that one thing. So hopefully today's video, even if you hate me and like you're the sort of person who negatively comments and I give it a bit back to you, and you know we talk shit to each other and I'm like, yeah, well, fucking whatever. There's actually no hate on my behalf. There's zero hate that comes. Like there's generally no hate from me. I do it because it's a laugh to myself. Or maybe you've got me like on a time where I was like dealing with some shit and I've hit you back with a snap. But it's like there is no negativity. Why do I use that word so much? I need to replace it. There's actually no negativity. And hopefully maybe today's the day where it goes for you, that you can be like, you know what? I don't like you, and you might still not like me, but you're like, maybe there's some truth in what he said. I'm gonna take some self-introspection time, and I'm gonna break free of this habit of negativity. So maybe this is one of the, like, this is why I want to build a massive audience, because I want to push out this message more than anything. The bigger my audience gets, and the more people I help make money and do these things, I know it'll catalyze and make it bigger. But the more I can push out this message, that's the thing that I can bring to the world the most, I feel. So hopefully this, even if it helps just one of you fuckers. I know I've helped change people's lives in terms of money and all these things, but if I can like be the Ty Lopez was to me to just even one of you from this video, I don't have to worry about, I'll take 1 billion points of negativity to help one person. So if you're watching, okay, hopefully that's you. Now, let's get into the source that you're all here for. That was meant to be a small fucking one for updates. It turned massive. That's what I love about the potty. Now we're going to look at, let me just check how's our uploads coming, baby. Oi, 100%. Our updates. We're looking at the safety stuff for OnlyFans. Now, let's start with one that I've already mentioned multiple times. This is for both managers or agencies and for creators. Very, very important, okay? Contracts. People lie, okay, and not intentionally. Everyone always has their own best intention in mind. But, okay, when you have something written on paper, whether you pursue it legally or not, it's not about that. It's very easy to then refer to that, and it makes it very transparent and very clear. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to legally pursue you. You can say, hey, look, I know we've been disagreeing on this recently, but the contract shows that when we made the decision, you were keen to do it back then. Has something changed? Do we need to come to some new arrangement and update it, or what's happened? Because you were fine with it before. Like, let me know what's happened. And it gives that standpoint rather than, I didn't say that, I've never said that. Okay, so for agencies and for creators, get a contract in place before pursuing any work together. Something, even if it's an email, even if it's just a simple email, not even a signed contract, just something like that's there that says, these are our intentions, okay? With a bit of information, because it makes it easy to refer to in the future. Now, the next thing, ladies, if you want to be ultra safe, okay, this one is like a pre-precaution. You don't really have to, you know, it's really an extra, but you can use a VPN when accessing your account in terms of like your own identity safety, in terms of worrying about creepos showing up and things like this. If you want to go that extra step for safety, I would say use a VPN. And, okay, this one really adds on. This one is definitely an important one. If you're ever conducting communication outside of OnlyFans with someone, make sure, okay, rather than Instagram or something, make sure if it's an external platform, you do have a new account set up that's just for that. Like you have an email that's not your normal email, because with someone's email, it's very easy to find out a lot of information. If I plug in someone's email or I put it out there, you know, I can find out their full name. Then I can use their full name. I can find out, you know, their phone number. Their phone number, I can see if that's been linked to any places that they've worked. And very quickly, I can build a trace line of you from your email of where to find where you are currently. I can search up people you've worked. And like you might say, oh, this is creepy. But then, you know, if you're a real psycho, you could ring that place where someone's worked and say, hey, does fucking Laura fucking Smithton still work here? And And they say, no, actually she's moved on to fucking Bunnings. And you say, really? Oh, I'm a friend, like I'm an old friend or whatever. What Bunnings did she go to? Oh, she's at this Bunnings. Oh, really? Okay. Now you know where that person works. Then you could drive there, sit there, watch that motherfucker, find out where they live, and very quickly, okay, your safety can become in jeopardy. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but who's going to go to all this effort? You got dudes that are paying you to jack off to you doing weird shit. Like people in the hive, this chick like just farted in her camera. She's like, fuck you, Daniel. Fart. 6-second video for like 2 Gs. Okay? If someone's willing to go that far, they're not that many steps off going down the line a little bit further. So please, for safety reason, you only have to set it up once. It's very simple. Set up a fake Gmail. If you want to go a step further, use VPNs when contacting, especially if you're calling people. Get a burner number or get a fake SIMI. Call people from a brand new WhatsApp, okay, with some encryption. If you're doing voice calls or you're doing like video calls, make sure you don't have anything in the background that gives away where you live, okay? Don't have it pointing out a window that shows your street address. These are common safety tips that I shouldn't have to say, but if you're going to conduct in this business, okay, I want to make sure that I can at least provide a little bit of extra safety to help you out, because last thing I want to see is like fucking a hive member getting fucking destroyed by some creepo and find them stabbed to death on the news. So here's some extra safety tips. Be smart. You don't have to be overly crazy, fucking witness protection level cautious, but you need to at least have some level of caution. And that leads on to the next point. The main way to avoid problems is to have like a flagging system. So whilst you still want to encourage people to be kinky and do all this shit and pay you and have devoted fans, you need to create like a mini system, especially if you're an agency owner. You need to have responsibility for the girls that you work with. And ladies, you want to take responsibility for your own safety. Have some sort of, because especially if a 6'4" muscular dude shows up and you're saying, yeah, well, I'm a strong fucking woman. Come on, understand anatomical differences still take place in today's world, okay? Don't be naive, because naivety will get you killed very quick if it becomes life-threatening. So have some element of safety, okay? And have a flagging system. Have some sort of system in place where you say, if this pattern arises, I'm going to follow these steps. So it may be like, okay, if the person starts asking to meet up consistently, and then they say, please, like, we need to meet up, or at least tell me the town you live in. Where do you live in? You need to have a flagging system where you say, okay, this person's money isn't worth the risk to my safety anymore, okay? Because there is some fucking whack jobs out there. And, like, you may be you may be an agency owner, fucking pro fighter, think you're all this and that. Like, I know jiu-jitsu black belts who would clean the floor with me that I've trained with in Thailand at Tiger Muay Thai, and then there's jiu-jitsu black belts that are comp winners that could smoke them, and you see them on videos in the news, they try and like calm someone down, they get stabbed or they get shot. And that's just over something small, like this cunt's wires were fried that day and you were just out getting bread and you looked at him weird. And now you're in a business where there's a little bit more loopy sort of people. Okay, you want to take that extra element of caution. So have like a flagging system. You can define what your metrics are, but have a flagging system. And this one leads on to the last one. I've talked about this inside the hive mind. This is a tip I give inside the hive. This is why you 100% need to be in the hive, because you're a community around people who can support you, people who can give you tips for marketing, for growth, for everything. The link's in the bio. You need to earn the hive mind. But if you ever send anything, if you ever send something like used clothing, or you send whatever it is to a customer, physically, purchase a virtual address. For the love of God, do not send with your physical return address attached. You do that enough times and you're just asking for it. You've taken away the steps for them to even have to do all that additional shit that adds barriers, to psychopaths. That, like, say, there's a lot of people like murders and shit. A lot of them are there's killers by opportunity. They drive around, they're not. One day an opportunity pops up, or the kitty fucking snatchers. It's not that they're like just prowling the streets all the time, but they're driving and they're like, oh my god, there's a small kid out on his own, fucking snatch. Those people need shooting, by the way. But they're people of opportunity. So if you make it an easy opportunity for these people, and if you send out enough fucking used clothing with your return address, just fucking naivety or being naive, thinking, oh, it's all just gonna work out, you're making yourself an opportune target. So use a virtual address. If you don't know what that is, you can buy an address online. They're super cheap. I used to use them for my e-commerce stores. I used to use virtual addresses because Shopify would require a physical address. And you can up the element that you want for those virtual addresses. You can have them like handle returns and parcels if you want, and they'll forward them onto your actual address. And you can even have a phone assistant. Like my virtual address had a phone assistant, so when people would ring for customer support, because when I first launched, I couldn't afford a customer support team on the phone until not that I really actually couldn't afford it, it was more of putting the system in place, because I was using so many different couriers. You can have someone, I had a lady that would answer the phone from my virtual address, and she'd say, oh, sorry, our office is closed at the moment, we're undergoing whatever. You can give them whatever spiel you want. Please refer to our email or our live chat or our Facebook chat, okay? And you can have someone like that if you want, da-da-da-da-da. You know, you've had a problem with your order that arrived. No worries, please just refer to our email here. And they say, oh, where are you? Like, I had a fucking, I picked a big main building in the fucking middle of Sydney. And you can pick it anywhere that you want, okay? So use a virtual address. They're cheap to set up. And it makes you look professional too. So agency owners, like, when people say, oh, bro, where's your physical address? And I'm like, oh, it's in fucking Sydney, in the Trust building, like the big Trust building. And you can pay extra like I do. And then you can use that boardroom meeting as well. Like, this probably doesn't apply for OnlyFans agency owners. But if I ever wanted to conduct a meeting, and because I work virtually and I don't have a big office space, if I wanted to have a serious meeting, I can actually go in to my virtual address in Sydney because I pay a premium, and I can conduct the meeting in the boardroom there, and they'll have it all set up for me, and I can organize catering if I want, and I can have catering. Like, if I'm conducting a big deal, say like an exit, and I'm going to sell an agency or something, I can meet with people there professionally. So it's just, you can use that for all different businesses. So works great for customer service, works great for safety, works great for exiting businesses or meetings and shit. So get a virtual address. Now, that's it for the day. I've spoke so much today. I've already done the other video. I think I'm going to bang out one more as well, and then get on with my day. I woke up earlier today, so I've got a heap done now. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you hit subscribe down below. Join the fucking hive mind. We are growing at an exponential rate. It is insane. I need to update the website. We're plus 400 members now. I think at the 500 milestone is when I'm going to put the price up. I think we're at like 440 members-ish. Okay, I have to check. So we're just growing exponentially. And yeah, then I'll put the price up again. So make sure you join. The link's down there before the price goes up. And make sure you hit subscribe as well for all the future videos on OnlyFans and potties each day. See you all tomorrow for episode 128. We call this one the Billionaire Setup, baby.